Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with episode 16 of Macross 7. How about you go ahead and remind us of what happened last time?
Yes. Girls' Jealousy was episode 15. And better than the last episode we decided it was, but there was some forward movement. We started with a prisoner. The and it turns out that prisoner, the Milia, well, the cops got basically because Milia got shot and now it's in a wheelchair, um, is human, not someone that has DNA like humans, but from space, like the Centrati. No, he is from Earth. Which I guess there are some DNA markers that will tell you where you're from, right? Evolutionary markers, uh, and therefore, but he is comatose, which is weird because he was perfectly functional fighting, but then he isn't. Uh, then we cut to this fair where everybody who had a mech in their backyard was asked to bring them out. So they brought a lot of old models and construction models and all that from essentially SEF1 Macross. Uh, and then they had a contest to see who could actually be trained to this. The idea being that we had to create some kind of militia to protect City 7 because the military is not there um, to protect them. Mind you, they could have just had a simulator, put them in a simulator and see what happens. But no, wacky hijinks occur when they try to drive these things. But hey, Milia tells her daughter, Mylene, that he is too young to fly or drive one of these mechs, and therefore she doesn't get to do that, or so she thinks. Meanwhile, Rex and the gang show up again, and they're talking to Basara, and they tell Basara to train them to fly the machines. Basara helps, and apparently he's so helpful that he takes Rex alongside Ray, and they spend the entire night training them in Basara's quarters on flying a mech. I guess they do have a simulator in their room somewhere. Mylene and Vivif, I screwed up her name, were practicing all night in the same building. And that's where she notices that, Rex is coming out of, the apartment building early in the morning and gets further informed by her bodyguard slash um, mother's assistant that what they were really doing was doing the etchy. And so um, we go back to the carnival thing where we're gonna have a concert, but the baddies show up and decide, hey, these mechs are here. We can't have these mechs, so they attack and destroy them. There's a battle. It ends up that Mylene is the one that gets into the craft and she's kicking ass, which takes off Basara because that's not what he wants. He actually doesn't want to save people's lives, apparently. And thus they end up in a fight. There's also a conversation of whether she's jealous of Basara or not, right? And Basara accuses her of being more like gambling, right? You know, actually engaging and defeating the enemy as opposed to
Yeah,
just
so
singing
I
to
was
them.
hoping that Akiko was
Yeah,
recording it for Gamescome's
yeah,
benefit later.
yeah. And and we see a reaction from this human from Earth that got captured to the music. Now he doesn't start shouting; he just starts tapping his fingers. So it kind of fits in the theory that yes, you can sort of restore people's spiritual through the music. But again, that leaves a question because if these are the same people that are in the other fighters, right? Aside from the key figures, we think that they are the enemy. We don't know the name of the enemy, but like the regular soldiers are just converted humans, right? From this expedition, then why is it every time they don't get hit with the speaker pods, they don't react? They go like, oh, whatever, you're sure, let's keep fighting. And don't seem to wake up. So does
Two
being in the machine prevents them from not getting the music and getting affected?
two
I don't know.
things. Um, One, we don't know that everybody in the machines is human. We just know that this one guy was. That's the
Mhm.
benefit, or I guess the detriment, rather, to our previous Zentradi example is that we knew all those people on those ships were Zentradi. Versus this, we
Mhm.
don't really know who these people are yet. Maybe this episode, now we got one awake. Two, we know that Spiritia level has
Mhm.
multiple different things to it. 0 is a coma. 12 is like depression from Alice Holiday. Um, and you can be brought up to your normal level, which is just, I guess, what the pilots would be at normally anyway. I don't know. We don't know why that guy was at a coma level to begin with. Maybe
Mhm.
they're feeding off of their own pilots right now. Or
Again,
maybe
then the
keeping them at a low spiritual level makes them more compliant, so that they'll. That's why they suck. That's why they suck versus Basara, but also
Mhm.
why they're compliant with their. We don't know why they sided with our enemy, these guys.
Mhm.
But we do know that the songs can raise you up. So in fact, Basara singing at them could be raising them up beyond their spiritual limit and making them better, but they're
Mhm.
still fighting against him. So he's
Yeah.
actively working against himself.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
These are all the elements of what we know Spiritua can do and what the songs affecting the Spiritua can do. So he's empowering the pilots, in fact, but he's not saying, "Hey, stop fighting me." He's just giving them power with no message beyond dancing on the planet dance.
yeah, I guess. Oh, and yeah, they get into this fight, and Ray basically admonishes Mylene. It's like, "Oh yeah, you were doing great, but what if we don't have to kill them? You think about that?" And then he leaves. It's like, well, they haven't given us any other reason not to kill them. So, we haven't seen an opening. That's the thing. Maybe this episode does give us an opening because it shows that you can be affected, but
Devil's Advocate, they've never tried to kill anyone either.
I mean they kill a lot of people
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, I mean,
battles.
arguably, though, what they try to do is disable the vehicles and then put the people into a coma.
Yeah.
They actually haven't tried to kill anyone besides Basara, where they've tried to assassinate him. That was the very first time that they've said, let's kill these people. Otherwise, it's been, let's raid them for spiritua, which is like, let's put them all in comas.
Which is not great either. I
I know
mean,
it's not great, but it's like,
it's not be
we
fed up
know
and
you can come
everything
back
is
from a coma.
yeah. But they have killed people. I mean, they keep attacking, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah, but that's just a result of fighting. Arguably, again, this is just devil's advocate here. This isn't like 100% what I believe. I'm just trying to play the other side here, which is if we didn't fight them, they would just put us all in comas. Which
yeah,
isn't,
they would just feed up on us and like we're done.
yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not great. And at the same time, that could mean we'd all get made into pilots. I don't know, but
So they can feed up on more people
but
and
we wouldn't be dead. And arguably, some
yeah, we
people
ju-
would rather be in a coma than awake.
yeah, but you're not giving a choice. So you'll be slaves to this group of people.
Yeah. And again, we don't know what they're all about, really, because again, some of them sure are human, but those humans aren't 500,000 years old. So,
So yeah, uh, a little bit of progress, but this could have happened in like one episode. You know,
well, the
I mean,
only
faffing
part
around.
that mattered was literally the guy, the pilot.
Uh huh.
I
Yeah.
don't care about the Rex subplot, and obviously it didn't matter. Cool. We taught her how to fly a Gerwalk. Uh, by the way, Basara taught her, and Basara had to be reminded how to do it by Milia last episode. So clearly he
That.
doesn't know.
Yeah.
Also, how did you train her in your apartment? You just set up like a
Yeah.
bunch of like tools and like, okay, here's a stick. It doesn't make any sense, and it was clearly entirely ineffective. So pointless.
And also train her to do what? Fight when he doesn't want to kill the enemy?
Yeah, it's like, what was the end goal here? Because clearly she was flying off to fight.
Yeah.
You were in Milia's craft. It doesn't have speaker pods or a guitar or anything.
And Emilia, I mean, Mylene was kicking ass. So it was like, yeah, she's winning the battle. And she tells us, like, I'm winning the battle. We can just finish them off. Yeah, no, I don't want. I'm going to stop you from doing that. You know what would have been fun is that if that happened, the guy that they was trying to get off with just this one shot and actually hit Basara and shoot him down. Like, oh, you want to protect me? Boom, here it is. Thanks, sucker, and then fly off. That would have been more important.
I mean, they were ordered to assassinate him, and they are
Yeah,
apparently in a semi-coma state, so I don't think they're really caring about their own safety, given how many of them have been destroyed.
yeah. It's like, oh
Ah.
yeah, oh you saved me. Boom, here's a shot. Thank you. Bye.
I mean, every episode we come at this, it's always been, here's my rewrite, which would have been better, or here's how much of the episode we could have cut out and just combined into one mega episode.
Yeah. I think the problem for me from the beginning, what the aliens are doing is interesting. What the military's doing is interesting. What Basara is doing is bizarre.
Uh,
Like he and Ray are they're playing completely different thing, right? You know.
that's why I say it was
And
very
somehow
disappointing with Ray, because it's like he's the mature position in this group, and then he's like, someday you'll understand, girl who saved us. It's like, damn it, Ray.
yeah.
You are the hippie of the military. I get it now.
I mean, yeah, he has his backstory where he went in to try to get this target and he got his buddy killed, but still,
Yeah, he's the guy from Die Hard,
yeah.
whose name I can't remember, but he goes on to have a family that really matters to him. Family Matters, it's a joke. Carl Winslow. Sorry, that's his name in Family Matters. I don't remember his name in Die
I
Hard.
know, I know.
There, he
Yeah.
accidentally shot a kid once, and now for the rest of his
Yeah.
life, he's not gonna do any more police work.
I mean,
Uh,
he's still doing police work, and he's helping. What's
well,
his
he
name?
can't he
McClane,
can't
but
fire a gun anymore, which is the the lesson learned
the
at
whole
the end of
point.
the movie, where he actually
Yeah.
shoots somebody for good. Maybe that's Basara's lesson. Maybe Basara's gonna find out that the music thing was the wrong way to go the whole time. And now with his super fighter that has mini shields on it, by the way, which no other fighter in reality has, because how the fuck does it have those? We know how
Oh,
the
those are in the
Macross had it, because the Macross had this mysterious fold energy within it.
no, but those actually appear in Macross Plus. Those are part of the original YF-19 had a energized shield.
Yeah, but
So that's part
no,
of the design.
okay.
Yeah.
Still doesn't make sense to me how any of it has it, but then again, they didn't understand how it worked on the Macross, so
I
you,
mean, they have to develop some technology eventually, I
no, you
guess.
don't remember? The scientist shows up and walks into a room with a global. Look at all this fucking glowing air. Like this is where the fold thing used to be. We don't understand it, but we think we might be able to use it. They don't fucking know how it works. They just attach a
I mean,
trackball to energy.
they didn't know how to do it. But after 20 years, I think they figured something out.
Sure, you think these people are smart now?
I mean, the people in Macros Plus were pretty smart.
Were they?
Technically, was
They created a
technically.
AI that hypnotized them.
Yeah, well, that was one guy who was an idiot.
It's the Jurassic Park lesson. You were so busy thinking if you could, you never asked if you should.
Should well, one idiot who was in love with his own genius.
That jumped to his
Effort.
death because that worked
Yeah,
out so well for him.
he got what he deserved.
I don't know. My problem is I would have been that guy in any RPG we ever play because I'm always the support of the AI character. Anyway, I guess the next step is just go ahead and get on into it then.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, Mike Hogan though.
Yeah.
Goes up against what is the character's name? The Russian wrestling guy from Street Fighter.
Yeah. Zangief.
Yep, Zangief. That's that death battle because they both grapple bears and pile drive them into the ground. That's the only reason I remember Mike Hogan. I think I actually played a D&D character based on him because there was the grappler build. I think in 4E.
3.
Well, no, I
Three?
only played
And
through.
4, and 4. Yeah, it was. I had a friend of mine did a grapple build, and he was unstoppable.
Yeah, I think I only played third edition once or twice, so I know it wasn't in that. I think in that one I was trying to do the one where you can make yourself an undead, with the that like ritual that you lose like 2 or 3 levels, so you could only become undead at 4th level and go back to level 1. That's all I ever do is play overpowered builds. Like the Diplomancer. I've done Diplomancer before, ruined a whole campaign. Because, I could shapeshift in anything, I could acting skill or whatever it was. I could convince everybody because I basically rolled over 20 at level 2. So, I just won the campaign, didn't have to do any of your riddles.
あなたたちは何者で目的は何なの？
腕が突っ張ってるぜ。
だけに真面目にやってるじゃない。
そう、ジェラシーよ。
Hey, at least the last episode fit the title. That was a girl's jealousy.
Yeah.
It was more than 8% of the episode.
待ちなさい。
I also feel like Milia's fighter is a lot more animated, more drawn. It's got like the I don't know what you call them, like the thick drawn lines that show like grit and dirt and everything on it, whereas
Yeah.
everything else is just kind of shiny.
It's supposed to be older too.
Well, to me, it's better drawn.
Oh, finally, we've seen these guys in a while.
Also, it's the furthest out shot that we've gotten of the base.
何がスピリチュアファームだ。未だにサンプルどもの住居エリアが手に入らぬではないか。
各艦ボールド準備終了。
よし、全艦出撃せよ。
了解。
見ていろペペロニッチ。この俺が大量にスピリチュアを手に
See,
入れて。
last time we saw him, he couldn't wait to see the spiritual farm. For one episode, he changed his whole fucking mind.
Wow.
逃げる艦隊。
You took the whole fleet.
No, he took the whole Giggle
放
Squadron.
っておけ。
By the way, best squadron name. It's Gold
Giggle
Squadron, and now you got Giggle Squadron.
Eagle Squadron.
すごい。ママのバルキリーとは随分違うわ。
Well, namely, it's controlled by a guitar.
ちょっと動かしてみたらガボークになっちゃって。
ああ、もうこんなに汚しやがって。
ごめんごめん。でもさ、このバルキリーすごいね。最新型じゃないの？
いいから降りろ。勝手に人のもんに触るんじゃねえ。
She's a better pilot than you are,
ちょ
dude.
っと
Come
くら
on.
い触ってもい
Well,
い
it's
じゃ
only
ない。
because she does stuff.
Mm-hmm.
だからさ、まあ敵がいつ襲ってくるかわからないんだから。私もこれを使いこなせた方がいいと思わない？
思わねえよ。
何よ。
おめえには向かねえんだよ。
バサラこそ何よ。全然性能生かしてないじゃない。バルキリーは戦闘機よ。敵をやっつけるために作られたものなんだから。
だからおめえには向か
I
ねえ
mean,
っ
it's
てんだよ。
loaded with missiles.
じゃあどうやってシティセブンを守るのよ。
もういいや。とにかくお前には触らせねえ。
なんでよ。
How are you gonna stop her?
し合っても
She
何
just
も
got
わ
in
か
there
ね
and
え
started talking.
I was literally hoping that Mylene was going to turn around and go, can't touch it constantly like a little
And
child.
again, he doesn't even answer the question. It's like, just tell her what your plan is, what you're trying to do. Like, people don't get what I'm trying to do because you don't tell them.
Also, you have a 0% success rate.
何か進展はあった？
いえ、相変わらずですね。
Don't they have a camera or something?
Well, unfortunately, they don't have Dr. Chiba here to tie people to chairs.
彼が被っていたヘルメットです。各機能を調べた結果、この装置が過聴域外の特殊な音波を出すようになっていることが分かりました。
Oh, so that's how they
Hi.
control.
その波長は一種の脳波コントロールを可能にするものでして、多分彼はこのヘルメットによって洗脳され、思考を完全に支配されたロボットになっていたのだと
I'm
思わ
gonna
れます。
guess that doesn't come into play in any future Macross series. These mind control
私たちを攻
helmets.
撃してきたわけね。
Otherwise, I feel like you would have made a guess at that
問題は誰が彼を
by
洗脳
now.
したかだけど、
そこまではちょっと。
結局のところ彼の意志が元に戻らないと
Oh
何も
man,
わから
now
な
I'm
い。
just thinking.
Well, analyze the frequencies.
I'm just thinking now. Share an Apple with mind control helmets. Nah, she doesn't need that. She just needs a concert. Are you holding like a toy house?
A house for ants?
No, what's toy house?
Oh, this guy's gonna die.
Wow. I thought you were
My
a teenager. I guess you could be a teenager with a child. It's common occurrence these days.
Oh yeah, this guy's dead. This guy's so dead.
But
They're like, I have a child, and I made a toy for
what are you
it.
talking about, Lessons? He's just like one day away from retirement. No way it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. By the way, he's also getting married tomorrow.
To her baby mama, I suppose. How do you know they're safe? Well, he's lying to him. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to be true, they have no idea. C7 could have folded into the middle of a planet, for all they know.
And then you made him promise that you're gonna give him the toy to the kid. Of course.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm sure the kid will not like that toy. What 2-year-old wants a
Music
lock-
box?
Yeah, music box.
Oh, kid's like, it's a 2-year-old. It's gonna like the
maybe-
music, is it, but
No. Maybe if
I
that
like-
child was from the 1800s.
I like music boxing.
Yeah, well, I don't know much to say about that.
彼はほとんど虚脱状態だったわ。
おそらく原体験といった潜在的なものでしょう。彼は強制的に移送されることを怯えるような節が見られましたから。
わかりました。きっと
Ironic.
すぐにシティポリスが見つけ出してくれ
If we had
る。
only
He didn't.
bound him to a
He didn't-
chair, he couldn't have done anything.
Yeah. Oh, Big Ben and the Eiffel Tower are part of City 7,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, we already know the pyramids are there. It's in the opening. We literally brought all of human culture with us, including our buildings. Okay. What are you gonna do, Macross 7? Feels like a real Frankenstein moment.
Well, she saw the girl.
Yeah, no. I have no fucking idea. She's just the world's most confusing mute, that's all. I'm gonna hate if that turns out to be the case, by the way. That she's just a mute, and that's why nothing's happening. And she loves him because he sings songs that she can't sing.
よし、一斉発射。照準セット中。当たらなくていい。
Or maybe she's the former band member and she had to leave because she became a mute.
撃て。
That's weird. Bendy lasers.
この一発は威嚇だ。無視する。
Must be from Apocalypse.
モニターから目を離すな。第2波が来る前に敵の動きをよく見ていろ。
第2波攻撃準備完了。
敵の動きは。
微動だにしません。
お、なかなか度胸のあるやつが指揮しているな。だがいつまでそれが続くかな。
水力 75% にダウン。迎撃フォーメーション用意。
了解。
艦長、これはいつもと様子が違いますな。
迎撃艦隊射程距離に到達しました。
よし、攻撃開始。
Are we just not gonna launch any fighters?
Poor bastard.
ご覧の通り、彼の脳波は通常では何の変化も見せません。しかし、
Are we just setting Dr. Chiba up for failure?
反応を示すのです。
Probably.
That he had this
Oh, he's-
this Nobel theory, and he did all the research, and then these guys are gonna figure everything out,
活力を見せ
and then when they get back,
Oh,
they're gonna broadcast their
この演奏を
findings.
聞かせ続けることで 本来の意識を取り戻せるかもしれません。
なるほどね。いいでしょう。このバンドのメンバーに協力を要請するわ。生の演奏の方が
See, this is what they should have done in that episode
さあ
instead of whatever the hell they were doing with Dr. Chiba.
私の経験から考えても
Chiba Sensei.
間違いないと思うわ。
Again, that episode just exists to humiliate Dr. Chiba.
私はかつて歌によってカルチャーショックを受けたゼントラーディの人間ですよ。
I'm surprised you didn't know that.
仕事か？
Yeah.
これからママのところに来て演奏してほしいんだって。
おいおい、またあの市長さんの仕事かよ。
大切なビップに私たちの演奏を
By
聴
the
か
way,
せ
if
たい
that
んだ
was
って。
red,
ビップなら文句ないでしょ。
that could be a Fatal Fury hat.
俺が言いたいのはな。
I mean, yeah, it's a 90s hat for sure.
敵に回さん方がいい。行くぞ。
It's more so the metal plate on the front of it.
Yeah. It's very 90s.
ダイヤモンドフォーススクランブル、ダイヤモンドフォーススクランブル、ダイヤモンドフォースカタパルトスタンバイ。
こちらエンジェルリーダー。第一防衛ライン突破されつつある。もっとバルキリー隊を回してくれ。
了解。だからイーグルレア隊をこちらへ回します。ドーンと
ダイヤモンドフォース発進準備完了。
了解。
Oh, that's right. This episode threatens that Gamlin could die.
But he's not the one who's gonna die.
Right, well, they didn't bring up Fizia at all. By the way, Fizia, the stand-in for Docker, who's just come awake. We can only have 3 members of the team.
何よこれ。ここで演奏しろっていうの？
そうよ。
冗談じゃないわよ。ビップだとか言って呼び出しといて。
あなたたちの音楽をぜひ聴きたいんだって。
何よ。そいつは捕虜になった敵でしょ。なんでそんな奴のために私たちが。
分かってねえな。敵だから聞かせ
Hey,
るんだ。
remember when you played for Alice Holiday by herself? Also, Mylene thought she was playing for a VIP, so she came dressed to the nines, right? It's like, what is the spirit trick contained in? Where does it go?
Oh, they're killing them.
Oh yeah, 'cause the Giggle was getting his way.
エメラルドサンダーはアサバスカのバックアップを。
Emerald Thunder.
敵主力艦隊3時方向へ展開。第2次
Must be an Irish ship.
ドントレスカルナ3は間に合いません。
ZX9821 エリアバルキリー隊配備どうなってんの。
第2次防衛ライン突破されました。
よし。これより我が艦はトランスフォーメーションを行う。
トランスフォーメーション。
関係確認に
Okay, first, Bunny, you could have
いよいよ本領
finished the
発揮です
thought.
な。
奴らにこのマクシミリアン・ジーナスの戦い方、存分に見せてやる。
You know, I actually thought this was going to be a series where we didn't transform.
リミット07。
Well, they're not affecting City 17, I suppose, so.
Well, I mean, it implies that Battle 7 was always meant to detach. That's why it can transform. But the fact that we also didn't transform in Macross Plus because there was nothing to transform.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Macross itself, SDF Macross, was there and it was already transformed.
Yoshi, 砲撃中止。戦闘艦は現状のまま待機。ランチタイムだ。サンプルどものスピリチュアをたらふく食らい込んできてやる。ガムリン注意。 バトルセブンがトランスフォーメーションをなんだって
こちら D1 D フォース各機に通達バトルセブンのトランス
Okay, it really does the human mode. Second there, I thought it was just transforming into, like, releasing a giant gun.
敵はまだシティセブンを手に入れてないこの攻撃を見ればわかる敵も死だシティセブンは無事なんだよく聞けフィジカこの戦闘を乗り切れば家族に会えるんだぞ
こちら D3 了解うわ
トランスフォーメーション完了まであと80秒
よしバルキリー各隊をマクロスキャノン射線上より離脱させろトランスフォーメーション終了と同時にマクロスキャノン発射
待ってください。マクロスキャノンスタンバイまであと400秒弱必要です。反応炉のチャージがまだ。申し訳ありません。
Your ship, man. You should know.
チャージも200秒以内にしろ反応炉出力は 80% でいい
艦長それではキャノンのオートリミッターが働いてしまいますが
手動に切り替えるんだ
了解
Also, it takes 400 seconds to charge, and you only wait 200 seconds. How is that 80% charge? There must be a high bell curve to the charge rate. If you hit 50%, it gets harder and harder to charge. I'd be making a joke if I could remember that ship that got destroyed 3 times in a row in SDF Macross. He's doing his name. We're using the shot when they attacked the production ship.
Yeah.
It's literally the exact same shots. So how weak are those guns? They open fire on this apartment complex and there's no damage. Specifically did not show the child getting hit by the spiritual sampling beam.
I guess they do have a gun.
It's Battle 7. She's gone to Mega Maid.
トランスフォーメーション完了
反応炉出力 70%。オートリミッター解除。マクロスキャノン発射まであと150秒。
この150秒は致命的ですな。
トランスフォーメーションによる異常はありません
I guess specifically Battle 7 was designed with the intention to transform. Because, I mean, it's like the front of a ship. It's not like a whole city on the inside. No one's there to get crushed or sent to space.
There you go.
I guess since we can see fire, there would be enough oxygen for the sound of the music box to be heard by nobody but the camera. Sorry, it's the problem that they've hit us with so much ridiculousness that the serious scene now, I'm having a hard time. Also this. You honestly can't go from, oh no, Physia, he's never gonna see his 2-year-old, I'm gonna assume daughter, to Maramelia head bopping to the song that the former coma patient's having to listen to.
天才の勘というやつですかな。
標準修正終了各バルキリー隊マクロスキャノン射程上より離脱確認あ、まだです D フォースガブリンキがまだ
Wow, this is exactly like that time Kwamsin had to open fire on the fleet, and his people were still there.
配するな。いつなら間に合う。
カウントダウン開始。10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1、0。
マクロスキャノン発射。
So it was wide enough to destroy the entire fleet, but not wide enough to kill two fighters engaged in combat with one another.
Yeah, I mean, blood armor.
Yeah. To be fair, I guess it would have been really hard to explain how your dad killed your boyfriend while you were singing songs for your mother's prisoner.
意識が戻った。
ここは第37次超長距離移民センターマクロスセブンのシティ内よ。まずあなたの名前を教えてちょうだい。
私はイリーナ早川、認識番号35400076、階級は
I guess he regards you as an enemy.
どうなってるのよこれ。
どうやら地球人だったみたいだな。
そんな。だってあいつは敵で私たちのことを。
な、敵だからって戦うばかりがノーじゃねえだろ。
パサラ。
Oh, the music bug is playing.
How annoying, because we know he hates this song.
フィジか。
Unless it's just in his head. So, the enemy pilot recited his name, identification number, and rank like an old United States thing. You know that.
I mean, probably the first thing that he would do to identify himself in
right,
any situation.
Right.
Yes,
but my first thought there is, they gather spiritua by raiding places every 500,000 years. Never mind, I'm already instantly regarding how stupid my thought was, but I might as well say it anyway. That maybe they're the UFOs from, history. It's
No,
like,
I
wait,
don't think
no,
that,
the last time they harvested stuff was 500,000 years ago. Then this guy would have had to have been a time traveler. Oh, wait, maybe he got into a Birdman. Look, I think if I follow one of my own, narrative threads, I can already write a story that's more interesting than what we're watching.
Yeah.
Except for all the people who dislike time travel stories.
See, if this had happened 10 episodes ago, it would have been a much better story. But the problem is we see Basara going out again and again and again and again and doing the same thing and nothing happens. It's like, oh, now we get the guy who responds to this, right?
My problem is I think this episode should have been 2 different episodes. I have the reverse problem of all the other ones, that this one should have been split up.
Yeah, his response to everything is...
So a new enemy.
I don't know.
No, I think the attack on Battle 7 should have been its own episode.
Yeah.
So I guess if we take all the stuff that's happened to Battle 7 since the kidnapping and put it all into a condensed episode, so... Although I don't know how much of this stuff... I take all the stuff from City 7, remove it from this episode, include the Dr. Chiba thing, because I think that's actually... I don't know. It seems semi-important then when it happened, but now it seems like they're setting him up for a comedy moment where he's going to lose his Nobel Prize.
Yeah. Galactic Nobel Prize. No less.
Yeah, and then I guess also their efforts to find City 7, add that into this episode, and just make it its own thing, because I think the non-serious shit that happens with the City 7 side of the story really takes away from Physia's death. Like, I had a hard time taking it seriously. It's an emotional beat, along with, the civilians being trained, except the thing that takes away from the civilians being trained is the fact that I instantly recognize where we're reusing The shots where they
Yeah,
attack the well,
the
one,
factory ship.
yeah, well, one the factory ship, but also the shots where they're shooting the buildings is also from another attack that we've seen.
Yeah, it's been reused a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, it all thrown into a scene that's supposed to have emotional impact, like a child, like watching his mother go into a coma, is just takes away from that. And again, the nonsense stuff just takes away from any emotional that I have for Fisia being taken out.
Although the way Giggly is talking about it, he's
Giggly.
no, I'm gonna, yeah,
Giggle.
Yeah, giggle. I don't care. That he's feeding on them, like he's acting like a vampire. Oh, I'm attacking them because I'm gonna feed from them, right? Okay, he got surprised that he's like a third of his fleet got wiped out. It's like, well, bitch, that's what happens when you mess with a Macross type ship. Um, and that was at 80%. Imagine 100%. It's like, oh, okay. That actually makes sense. Like, okay, that's why he's so like, I'm not gonna wait. I'm a vampire. I want to feed on these people, right? I want my fill, right? That makes sense. But that wasn't something that was really shown before, right?
It was.
Again,
I've
there's a
said
lot
this
of
before. I've said
yeah,
this
but he
before
doesn't.
because, well, one, I brought it up with the infiltrators with the mouth thing that I said that maybe they're just eating it. That's why I brought up
Yeah.
that maybe Rex kissing Basara was actually she's eating his spiritual, which turned out obviously not to be true, but I think it plays to the mouth thing from
Yeah,
the
but
infiltrators.
Giggle. Like I said, giggly.
Giggly's a funnier than him. Giggle somehow.
Giggle. Oh my god. Never actually says it's like, oh, I just want to attack these people. I just want to collect.
Well, no, he
I'm gonna
says
do
I
it
want
my
to
way.
harvest. Yeah, because we know that the
Yeah,
raiders
but
from
here
Spiritua.
explicitly says I'm gonna feed on those people. It's like, yeah, this is me feeding on them. It's like, okay, finally you spelled it out, right?
Well, it's a farm. We know they're gonna eat. It's like you said. I've regarded it as they're going to eat the spiritual the entire time. I think I said this last episode opening that the entire concept was that they needed it to imbue, to eat, to devour,
Yeah.
and that's how it would.
The true enemies, because I guess there's the people that they stole from somewhere else. Maybe this fleet that came in and they took over the fleet, and also the helmet thing. Oh, because that was a question. Like, okay, if they're stunned and they're, you know, in lower spiritual levels, then why are they so effective in combat? It's because they're getting instructions from somewhere else. Okay, stuff like that is stuff we should have seen 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 episodes ago, right? Instead of faffing about, right? Again, it's a feeling that you have this very relatively serious anime, war and all that, and then you have Basara doing whatever, and they still like, oh yeah, you get it, patting her head like, oh, now you get it. We don't have to kill the enemy. We just have to convince, like, okay, I got that, like from the first episode you tried to say.
It made sense.
Okay.
Obviously, Basara, who has been trying to convince the enemy through songs the entire time, is gonna be down to sing at an enemy combatant who
But the
they
also thing is
actively
that
want to and is receptive to it.
Yeah, but it's like he's doing it, but the way he's doing it, like he never talks to people. Like, oh, finally you get it. Yeah, you get it because your mother invited us to sing to this guy, and you saw the reaction, so we're gonna go with that. It's almost like he's like, I have this vague idea what I want to do, and I'm very pumped for it, but I have no clue how to do it, and I don't know exactly what's gonna happen other than it's a meme of like step 1, get the super fighter, step 2, sing to them, step 3, you know, profit. Right. That's the whole thing with Basara. It feels like there's a missing piece there that he doesn't know what he's doing.
I wouldn't expect that to come from Basara. I would expect that to come from Ray. And
But then
Ray
Ray doesn't
hasn't
say anything.
Yeah. That's the problem. Because it feels like Ray has been building up this whole plan with Max. That's why him and Max have these backroom conversations. And obviously also the giant team of people working on the project too, that we only saw once. Again, where the Operation M might have to be put on hold.
So it also seems that Captain Genius, Max knows about it, or at least has been convinced enough to support it, even though he might be iffy about it.
He's got an entire staff dedicated to it. That's what I'm saying. We had that whole the bunker that Ray went to before he gets injured in that episode, where he's talking to everybody, and they're like, "Oh, it looks to me like it's just paint damage," and he's like, "Oh, you're better than our own scanners are." Blah 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 blah. And then they have the conversation with Max in the same room where Operation M might have to be put on hold, and Ray's like, "No, but how about not?" And then Max is like, "Yeah, how about not?" And the scientist is like, "What do you mean?" You know? So obviously there's a whole background thing going on here that Ray knows a lot about. Um, Basara, who's commented before, "Oh, you don't know Ray's backstory? How could you not know before you joined the band?" And she's like, "Well, what is Ray's backstory? I don't know. I didn't ask." That Ray is
Yeah.
holding back shit from Basara too. Basara is
So
all about
Basara has
that
signed up to
one thing.
something. Yeah, but the thing is, Basara has signed up to this whole project without knowing what the heck is going on, other than, again, in his mind, enemy shows up, I saying blank profit. Right? That seems to be the thing that's going on. And it's the blank part that drives me nuts.
The best thing I get about Basara, it feels like to me, is that he was probably like a street busker, right? One of those people who has like a guitar case open on the street and he's just playing songs, hoping people throw in change. And then Ray saw something in him that's like, Basara is all about this one thing. And then Ray is like, well, I'm about this one thing too, and I might be able to use you in a secret project. So he like brings Basara on board, and then it's just all in from there. But Basara doesn't know. Ray obviously had to keep it hidden from him that his thing is being kept in a military bunker. So obviously the military concept of stuff is hidden from Basara. I think I covered it that episode. But Ray is our only point of information, and we don't spend any time with him.
He's always acting clueless, even though he seems to know more than he is.
Yeah, well, problem is that Ray is our point of information. Also, he is basically an ex-military hippie, right? He is our ex-Vietnam vet that got so fallen out with war that he's the one you see holding signs up on, like, I forget what what's the area right in front of the Washington Monument called?
The pond? No, the pond, not the reflecting pool.
Yeah, the giant reflecting pool area.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, those scenes of like during Vietnam with everyone who's like stop the war shit. He's one of those I got back from Vietnam hippies who's just telling the story now. I'm not insulting those people. I'm just saying that's the feel that Ray has, that I went to war, I saw how bad war was, I've come back not as a soldier, but as one of you to tell you how bad it was because you have this misconception about war.
Yeah, but then he's working with the military, and he's the one who put the missiles on the VF-19.
Right,
And
he
it's
puts
like,
the
well,
missiles on it. He puts the missiles on it
just in case,
and then pats Mylene and says, "You'll understand someday," about not fighting people. So
yeah,
that's either a bad writing scenario where one person handled one episode's writing and another person wrote the other episode, or we just have no concept of Ray's character and we're just, playing it as we go, which would be a musical thing, wouldn't it? So,
yeah. So, no dominance here, though.
Yeah, I mean, assuming you play dominoes right. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess there's just we sort of finished this arc in that, stuff has happened, payoff, like, Giggle took his entire fleet and did a thing. City 7 still isn't with us, though. But next preview is literally, there's going to be a new enemy, which means we're starting a new kind of arc in the middle of another arc. Unless these guys are only going to exist for 1 or 2 episodes and then be gone.
No, I think I know. I mean, I get the feeling that she's supposed to be like, oh, she's a woman, and I think it might be the commanders themselves.
I mean, it's a weird thing to say anyway. Oh, she's a woman. Like, in what realm of fighting a person?
Well, if you see somebody show up in the middle space and attacking you, it's like, what the hell is this?
I don't know, man. If somebody shows up and is attacking you, already you shouldn't care what gender they are.
True enough.
They're attacking you. The only time I could even think of it in this scenario where it come into play is that they were attacking Max. Because Max has already shown his misogyny. in the middle of an attack, vis-a-vis how he fell in love with Milia.
So yeah, the next one is called Pretty Devil, and this is episode 17 out of 49, plus 2 OAVs, 1 3 episode and 4 episodes. So we still have a lot of show to go. That's for sure.
Oh, and I know there's side stories with these guys too. So I don't know. I'm assuming something has to happen that they get side stories based on them, because that tells me that they felt that there was more story that they wanted to tell, but they ran out of time for. So
Or left it out.
Yeah.
Like, oops.
And I can't imagine them leaving anything out already.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it doesn't turn out into like remake of BSG. It's like, yeah, no, the Silence have a plan. The Silence have a plan. Remember, the Silence have a plan. Oops, we finished the series. What do we do? Okay, we're gonna make another mini series called The Plan. When I heard about that, I was like, oh God, that's so.
Oh well, the first thing that came out after Battlestar Galactica was Caprica, and I didn't watch that. So
that's like 3 episodes, something like that. It didn't last too long.
Was it? I didn't.
Like,
didn't care.
I
At
think
the end of Battlestar
care.
Galactica, I was already beyond caring. At that point, it's let's see how this ends.
I watched like 2 seasons, and then I would dip in and out and see if it got better. And every time I was like, oh, this is intriguing. Watch a couple episodes. Like, no, they're back in the old BS again. Never mind. I did watch the final episode just to see how they were going to wrap it up. And it didn't disappoint me in the way it disappointed me. Let's put it that way.
I mean, it was disappointing.
Yeah, it was overall disappointing. It's like, yeah, I couldn't expect any better because they were not going to give it to me.
I mean, for my money, what I would expect from this is more so last 10 episodes of SDF Macross, where we've already hit the money. Earth is gone. Would we go from here? I don't know. We didn't plan to get this many extra episodes, so this is what I fear, that we're gonna hit the spiritual farm, and the spiritual farm is gonna be right at the bookend, and then they had all these thoughts about, well, what happens after the spiritual farm? Well, I get these thoughts about Basara and what he does after that, or I have these thoughts about what Rey and Akiko happen after them. Ah, shit, we're gonna have some OVAs. All right. Well, any final thoughts here before we wrap up?
Again, I wish this episode had happened like at least 5 episodes ago. I'm getting the feeling that it's one of the things I also have with anime, although clearly this has a beginning, middle, and end. Like, one of the reasons why I don't get into One Piece or anything like that is it just keeps going and going. I'm like, no, I need my endings, right? Tell me a shorter, more compact story that is getting going rather than just going.
I feel like this is the difference between this, is that I appreciate people that have shows like One Piece, in that you don't have to be worried about giving up the characters that you've invested all your time for, because it's just freaking go forever. You'll always have and you'll always be able to get a reference back. Like Naruto has Boruto now. It's like every so often in Boruto, Naruto fucking shows up, or a character from Naruto will show up. I'm like, I remember that. That's a character I grew up with. Because literally the show has been on since 1980. Like Dragon Ball Z or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's all my thoughts for that.
All right, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stone-Faced Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?